of our regional staff on here, and we are all very excited about Cool Schools. So let's get started. The timing of our Cool Schools event is Friday, February 24th from 9 a.m. until 12 o'clock. You can come for as much of that time or as little of that time as you'd like. I know all schools have different transportation needs and also school logistic needs with having coverage or substitutes or whatever you're allowed as far as your timing goes. So if you want to come and stay for 3 hours, you are welcome to do that. If you want to come plunge right away and go back to school, you can do that as well. There are a lot of schools who have registered for this event, so we are just asking that everyone have patience as best they can because there are a lot of schools. So we are going to have, I believe, 3 pools set up, so we'll be able to get a lot of people plunging at once, but still just wanted to put that out there. The buses, the Plunge setup is going to be on Art Rooney Drive again, like it was last year. So if you came last year, it will be on that side street beside the stadium. They're going to close the road so the buses and cars can enter off of Reedsdale Street and park in the lot that is on this map here that says car and bus parking Friday. I know last year the buses were dropping off along the street down here at General Robinson. So this year it'll be off of Reedsdale Street. They can park in the lot at Reedsdale Street and then also pick up at Reedsdale Street. If anything were to change, we would let you know, but as of now, that is where it will be. Lunches, we have reached out and took estimates from a lot of you. So we took those numbers and shared that with sheets. So if you did not provide us an estimate, or if you did tell us that you were not planning to eat lunch with us, we just ask that you please not take the sheets lunches and make your own arrangements for lunch that day. So we don't run out for the schools who did put in a number for that. We did try to accommodate all dietary restrictions with the dairy-free, gluten-free, vegetarian. There are a lot of people, so we did put that request in, but again, we are just asking for patience with that. There will be other food and drinks aside from the meal provided by Sheets. If you're choosing to, if your school has opted into taking the lunch from Sheets, there will be Eat and Park cookies. There will be a hot chocolate truck. There will be Kona ice. And there will be water on hand. Last year, we were aware that the changing tents were a big area of concern. So this year there will be separate changing tents for students and adults. There will be a boys changing tent for the students, a girls changing tent, and then a men's and a women's teacher chaperone changing tent area. Restrooms, there'll be portable toilets available outside, but then we will have access to inside the stadium in the Great Hall, and there are restrooms in there as well. So there are a lot of options there if and when you need to use it. There's going to be a lot of fun going on. So we will have a DJ. There will be several tailgate games like cornhole. Bocce will be set up. The Pittsburgh Knights and esports will have a demonstration, and there's an opportunity to sign up for Special Olympics Unified Esports if that's something that interests you. We had put a link in one of our newsletters about signing up for esports if you were interested. This is another opportunity for you to do that if you think that's something your students would like. There will also be a selfie station, and T-Mobile has some giveaways as well. As far as the fundraising goes, let me look. You can still bring money the day of if you have cash on hand or if you have checks. The checks can be made out to Special Olympics PA, and then in the memo line, you could put fundraiser and the team name or your school's name. So that way we can track that appropriately and credit your school. And you can also continue to put money and put donations onto your online page as well. One more thing I'd like to say, if you do have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or put them into the chat. I will keep checking the chat as we go. The t-shirts. So anyone registered on your page will, their name will be printed on the registration with the school and the shirt size they requested. What we're asking is, when your school gets to Acrisure Stadium and you all get off the bus, have a teacher or school representative go check in at the registration tent. You will be given a sheet with everyone listed on that, and you'll confirm who's here and who's not, if there were any changes. And then the shirts will be collected from a separate area and a designated t-shirt pickup area. And a reminder that we're asking $35 per shirt be raised, and that's collectively. So if your school raised $350 total, you'd be eligible for the for 10 shirts. A big thanks to Phil George from Mohawk Area High School. He created a social story about coming to the Cool Schools Plunge, and this is a couple snippets from it. He had offered to share that, so if anyone's interested in the social story to share with some of your students in advance, we can share that with you as well. So thank you, Phil. Thank you, Mohawk. Finally, this is just the map that I showed earlier, but I wanted to give it its own slide just so you could see it a little bit bigger. And once again, these numbered down here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, those are changing tents. The pool deck and the stage, and these circles in the middle in blue, those blue circles are the pools that you'll be plunging into. And after you plunge, you can go and get changed in there. The Great Hall entrance for registration and the restrooms are behind the pool deck. So if that's where you're looking to use a restroom or to get registered, you'll get off of the bus off of Reedsdale Street area, and then you'll come right in behind the pool deck and have one person go in for registration. I believe that concludes our PowerPoint, but I did want to leave time for any questions that anyone may have, or if Andrew or Cameron or Carly or Kevin or anybody from the SOPA staff wanted any additional time to share more information. We have that time and space here. So I am checking on the chat. Brooke, I see you're asking about the social story. I will send that to you, no problem. Christian, what's the final day people can sign up on the website and be counted for t-shirts? We're asking for registration for you to have your idea by Friday the 17th, but you can have people come up until the day of. You can bring people the day of. Adam, yes, we can share the PowerPoint. We'll share this out with everyone who's registered on here and everyone who's registered for the plunge for Cool Schools, so that way everyone has the same information.
Hey, I have a quick question for you, Stephanie.
Sure. Hi, Lori.
Yeah, okay. I'd already asked you and sent you a thing about age restrictions, and I didn't know if there was any concern or what the age range of students is, because I had a teacher who's a 6th grade teacher now who's jumped on board, and now some of his students want to come along. And if I just get permission from the parents, there's not going to be any issues. Do we have someone if I had an older kid supervise the younger kids in the changing room? Because obviously now if you're separating the adults and the students, that's going to be another issue.
Andrew, if I could just defer to you, yeah. I believe if a student needs help or assistance with changing, if they had a one-on-one or somebody who needed to be with them, they absolutely could. I just know we had feedback from last year that some of the teachers were uncomfortable changing alongside the students themselves. So we wanted to provide that additional space so that you as the teachers could change and have that privacy and not have to change around the students.
Stephanie, can you stop sharing as well?
Oh, yeah, I did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's no age restriction of people as long as they have a waiver signed by their parent or guardian. In terms of the accommodations for changing, we can just make sure that the private area is clear and they could go in there. Obviously we would recommend a few people go in, not just one-on-one, but we can accommodate that. But the age restriction, there's no age restriction as long as the parents sign a waiver.
How young have they been? Have you had younger than 6th grade, 12 years old?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we've had some youngins jump with their family on the Saturday.
Okay.
But
now they're asking me 2 questions in regards to once you get out, is it how long do they, I mean, in terms of out of the pool into the changing area, and how is we have like a pile of bags and then we just grab our bags, and that's how, what the logistics is about that.
you have to wait 35 minutes before you can change. Yeah, people usually grab their stuff and run and change right away. The tents are really big, so it gets a little crowded at times, but hopefully we can have schools arriving at staggered times and it won't be as crowded. But yeah, they usually go change right away.
Okay, thank you.
You can have somebody standing near the pool deck with the towel ready to hand them a towel if that's something that they're concerned about as well.
Okay, thank you.
And then Steph, I just wanted to chime in. If anyone is bringing money day of for students that are registering, like they need to register day of, they will need to have a waiver signed out prior to them being able to be given a wristband. So if you need the waiver sent to you, we can send those ahead of time. That way the students have those for their parents, and then the teachers can bring them with us to registration day of.
Thanks, Carly.
Before we get to our friend Roseanne, I would just say take advantage of the FedEx Great Hall being open. You'll see this, can go in and see the Super Bowl trophies and some other Pittsburgh Steeler archives in there, so the students can take advantage of that while they're down at the Plunge.
We had a question in the chat also. Do all students need a waiver?
Yes, anyone under the age of 18, even if you're above 18, everybody who plunges needs a waiver signed.
Stephanie, I did have a question. With us, this is our being our first year, we have had a lot of people show interest here last minute, but we've also had like some teachers at the high school that have showed like the emotional support classroom coming, and the students might not want to participate, but are we allowed to bring kids along that just want to watch?
Yes.
And if so, do they need a waiver?
They do not need a waiver. They can come and watch, but if they did want to plunge at all, they would definitely need the waiver.
Thank you.
Roseanne, did you have a question?
I do. I would have typed it in the chat, but not all the keys work on this computer either. Let me lower my hand before I forget to do that and feel like the fool. My question was in terms of, we've been collecting paper forms for registration. And then when they turned in, we had like our own separate set of rules there where you had to raise the $35 and you had to promise that you would plunge to go. So like we have some that are raising money even if they're not going, but we're telling them like, you're not going to come with us next year. This is our first year doing it. But the ones who are doing the paper registration for us and turning that in, I don't need to put them on our team page, correct? Like if they're just giving me the money and I can send a list in of what the t-shirt sizes are and who's coming, is that sufficient?
They all need to be registered into Classy, unfortunately.
Okay, so then each of the kids that turns the paper in for me, I can just go on the team
Correct.
page and put them on there. Yep. And then we're good. But I don't need to put, like, when they're all doing the money, I can just put the money toward the team.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep. So just make sure you go on and register. And then if you just bring the money day of, we can calculate that on the back end for you and make sure that gets added to your team.
Okay. Okay, great.
I want to clarify also the when you have the registration page and you're registering the students, that is the waiver. So if they're registered, they've completed the waiver. it's in the situation like Roseanne was describing, that it was paper copies that would need to be submitted into the online version. But if you have your team and you have each student listed under your team, that is the waiver. They are good to go for the plunge.
Yeah, but I've had students sign up for this and they didn't have their parents' permission. They just accepted whatever, you know, and that's not a legal situation. So wouldn't you want something that was signed by the parents in addition?
I will defer to Andrew and Carly on that.
I would say yes. So what I can do is I can send Stephanie our minor waiver, and then she can disperse to any of you who would like that. And then you can just bring those to me day of, and I will collect those from everybody. But I'll make sure to get that sent your guys' way.
Stephanie, when you send that out, can you send that the social story that Phil did to everyone?
Yes. And again, huge thanks to Phil. It is wonderful. When you guys all see it, you will. I loved it. I think you'll love it too. As a former life skills teacher, I can't see you guys not liking it. Anybody else? Any other questions? Well, we still have time leading up to the plunge, so we encourage you to really ramp up any final fundraising efforts that you're doing at your schools. And additionally, try, if you're going to get anybody registered, please try to get them in by the 17th. But again, we can accept any